Hello and welcome back to Lorcana Villain. My name is Baker, and today we're taking a look at the top 8 deck lists from SCG Con Philadelphia. It was a whole weekend of events from the Friday the 8th of March through to Sunday the 11th. There was a 1k on the Friday, a 1k on the Sunday, and the Saturday was a 5k, which was 175 players. That's the main event of what we're going to be looking at in this video, although the title is a bit of a lie. I only have 7 of the top 8 deck lists, and I'm a little late on reporting on this, but it's because after the event happened, only 3 or 4 of the lists became available, so I wanted to leave longer for more to appear. It's been a few days now. If I leave it much longer, this event may end up being left in the rear view as new things happen. But there are 7 of them now, so I thought that was enough to definitely make a report on. So we're going to look through those, and then we'll take a brief look at some of the top cut decks from the Friday and the Sunday. My information comes from igdecks.com, link below. Thank you to them as always. But yeah, a few of the lists from the Friday 1k event are online, and 3 lists from the Sunday 1k are online. So we'll have a brief look through the Friday and Sunday lists. But yeah, mostly we're here to talk about the 5k, big old event. So let's take a look at the lists. And if you're looking to buy some singles from Into the Inklands, check out Cardmarket for all your trading card game needs. So to start us off, we have to, first of all, give a huge shout out to fellow content creators Forbidden Mountain, who attended the events over the weekend. And the 5k resulted in a finals between 2 of their members, which is a fantastic achievement to achieve for the teams. A huge shout out to them. And also worth noting that one of those team members who came second in the 5k, Rob Serp, also achieved first place in the Friday 1k, which had 110 players, and achieved second place in the Sunday 1k, which had 63 players. That is an incredible achievement. The name Rob Surt rings a bell as well. I feel like they topped a prior event with Steel Song. I'm going to double check that. But yeah, that in itself, like those sort of tops across a whole weekend of play is to be respected, and as far as I'm concerned, definitely enters them into my my list of final bosses that Lorcana has at the moment. So yeah, huge congratulations to Rob. But in the 5k, it was his teammate George that took that dub, and there is only 1 card difference between their 2 lists. In the interest of making this video not as long as the previous one, I'm not going to go over every card in as much detail. If you're newer, I highly recommend checking out my previous video, which will be linked below, going through the top 16 deck lists for a recent France event, in which video I read every card and I go a lot deeper. And this week coming on the channel, I have a complete guide to Ruby Amethyst, intended to be beginner friendly, coming out. But yeah, to try and save us some time, we'll do more the Cliff Notes version. So we've gone with 8 1-drops, 4 Rafiki to be able to hit those bigger numbers, 4 Mini for the reliable body, 2 Kuzco to draw some extra cards, keep board control, and 2, I was about to say Boogie at the Queen's Castle, but George isn't playing it, so yeah, I mean, fair enough, you won. So, but Queen's Castle is just that good, right? But yeah, nonetheless, Kuzco, another character that we can play into board wipes without being so punished, and another chance to get a character down before turn 3. We've got Snake and Fox to be our bouncers. We are seeing a 2 count of the very common Tech Pinocchio. Good for various positions in board states, but really strong against things like Ursa, Deceiver of All. Can be reused, so yeah, really strong. We're running 2 Maleficents for a little bit of extra card draw on top of the 4 Rabbit that we're already running, which I completely agree with. I think you need more draw, especially in the mirror. So yeah, I'm liking Maleficent in set 3 format. We've got 2 Crab to boost our characters to higher numbers, take out bigger bodies, take out locations. We are seeing a 2 count of Mini Stylish Surfer, 3 cost, 1/3, quest for 2 evasive. Still strong in this format. I've moved away from her, but I talk about this in my RA video that's coming out this week. That I may have moved away from her, but she's still really strong, and I could see myself playing her again. But I definitely think a lower count is is good. 4 Goat, 4 Rabbit, 4 Maui. You're running 2 Yzma here, who I really like. Just more draw, more hard removal. Yeah, I'm a fan. 3 Medusa. We're not seeing any Lady Tremaines in here. 3 Big Bad Monstrous Dragon Maleficents, who I'm becoming more and more of a fan of at higher numbers in this format. I was definitely wrong at the beginning of format when I said I thought she might be a bit too slow, performing really well. We're seeing that 1 copy of Dragon's Fire, which I'm a big fan of. I definitely prefer this over playing a copy. I think 2 or 3 Medusa and then 1 or 2 Dragon's Fire is a nice number. And again, you've got the Maleficents there. We're running 3 Teeth and Ambitions. We're not running a Prince Eric. So there's no synergy there, but still just a good card. We've got bodies that can take this and good for aggro. I've moved away from Teeth and Ambitions, but it's still a good card. I respect it. 4 Friends on the other side, 4 Be Prepared. We're running 1 copy of the Sorcerer's Spellbook to help us keep ahead in that race, and then 2 of the other very common, I wouldn't even call it a tech at this point. I think it's just Ruby Amethyst should be running Maui's Fishhooks. They're that good. Giving Evasive is really diverse, help you deal with threats, help you become annoying, and giving a +3 strength, similar to Crab. It's just good. Hit bigger numbers with smaller characters, or even with bigger characters. Take out locations. Maui can suddenly take out McDuck Manor. So yeah, really big fan of this list. Yeah, no Prince Eric, which I completely agree with. I'm a fan of Eric, he's okay, but I find him too slow personally. Although if I was running Teeth, I'd probably find room for it. But hey, George led it to first place, so listen to the data baker. And no Jim Hawkins in here, but obviously, why would you? Because we're seeing no locations. That's a statement in itself, and especially because the second list, which we'll go straight on to, ran by Rob, who we just mentioned, had a great running over the weekend. Exact same list, but 1 less Maleficent. George is running 61 cards. I've seen Forbidden Mountain mention on Twitter a couple of times. They've got their own meta report coming out this week, which I'll be definitely keen to keep an eye on, and I think they're going to be talking to the guys here. And I did see one comment where someone said, why 61 cards? And their Twitter account replied, George will talk all about that in the video. So I'd certainly look forward to hearing all about that. But 61 cards don't make me mad, man, especially in Amethyst, which has so much draw. So yeah, and yeah, like I said, Rob, exact same list except -1 Maleficent. Once again, no locations at all. A statement. I still think Queen's Castle is really good, but yeah, fantastic showing for the 2 Forbidden Mountain boys, so congratulations to both of them. Going on to our next Ruby Amethyst, there are 4 of these 7 lists that are the control deck. In top 4, we've got Dave, who is also a member of Forbidden Mountain. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, so an incredible run for that team. Yeah, huge big up. But yeah, Dave running... There is a difference here. I see a Queen's Castle. I do see a Queen's Castle, so they're not all saying you don't need it. Yeah, Dave taking advantage of it. The same 1 drop. So we've got 1 more Kuzco in here. We're running the full 4 Maleficents. The 2 Maleficent Monstrous Dragon opposed to the 3 that George ran. Same counts of Medusa and Dragon's Fire. Be Prepared. The one Spellbook. The 2 Maui's Fishhook. So it's -2 Yzma, -2 Mini, -3 Teeth and Ambitions. For the 4 Queen's Castle, an extra 2 Maleficent Sorcerer, and an extra Kuzco. So yeah, very similar, just going with the Queen's Castle as opposed to the Minis and the Yzmas. I definitely prefer it over the Minis. I do like Yzma, but yeah, Queen's Castle I'm a big fan of. So yeah, congratulations to Dave. And then lastly, in top 8, we've got John, who's running 8 1-drops. We've got the 3 Olaf, and instead of the Rafiki, we're running 4 of the Chernobog's Followers. Nice diverse card, 2 checks a lot of things, and you can just sit there and quest, or you can just fin your deck, draw into more cards, find the pieces that you need. Just 1 copy of the Tech Pinocchio. For me, I've been considering bringing this to 3. So 1 does seem low, but led them to top 8. The 4 Fox, the 4 Snake, all the way in the Maleficents. We've got 3 Stylish Surfer Minis here, 2 Crab, 4 Goat, 4 Rabbit. We are seeing 2 copies of Jim Hawkins to go with our 4 Queen's Castle, which I think is a perfectly reasonable split. For Maui, we are seeing a split here of Tremaines and Medusas. No Maleficent Monstrous Dragons, no Dragon's Fires, but finding use for both of the ladies in red. 4 Friends on the other side, 4 Be Prepared, 2 Fishhook, and 4 Queen's Castle. So yeah, I feel like Tremaine and Jim's definitely biggest difference between this and the list we've looked at so far, and the followers, I suppose, really is quite a key difference between having Rafiki or Chernobog. It changes the game a lot. But yeah, led John to top 8, so congratulations to them. Okay, going into top 4, we've got Colin with some Sapphire Steel Grandma's Wheels. So taking advantage of the whole new world for the hand refresh and the grab your swords. Those are our big, powerful 5-cost songs. We've got Cogsworth to sing them, Beast, 4 copies of Gaston, 4 copies of Tinkerbell, and all these cards just good in their own right. Flavisham for some extra draw, 1 copy of Mickey for some extra ramp, 4 Smee, only 3 Captain Hook. We're all in on the 4-1 jump ahead, and these extra ramp cards are going to help benefit from the 3 copies of Grandma Tala that we're running. 7 cost Inkable, 4/8 quest for 2. And do you know who you are? Whenever a card is put into your inkwell, gain 1 lore. So whether you're doing it manually, or we play 1 jump ahead, Mickey Mouse, an extra acceleration with Fishbone Quill, this be gaining us lore. We're not running any of the 2 cost. 3 Smash, 3 Rise of the Titans, 4 Develop Your Brain to find some key pieces. If I'm running the 3 Tala, I'm probably finding room for at least a couple of the baby. But what do you cut? I think 1 Gaston, 3 Gaston is fine. I think probably the Tamatoa. I don't think you're running enough items that you're often going to get enough use out of this. So it's probably -1 Gaston, -1 Tamatoa. And then, yeah, I might just be happy with that, just 2 Talas. Because the other reason, it's just another character that can sing 1 jump ahead on turn 3. I know you've got the 4 Smee, but just higher odds for that. And I've got to imagine having the shift target would be okay. But yeah, Sapphire Steel will, but a bit more emphasis on the spirit of the ocean. So congratulations to Colin. Next up in top 8, we've got some EA Tempo. I'm not going to do it and see if anyone complains. So, yeah, Zach with taking advantage of the 3-drop Ursula Deceiver of All, obviously generating lots of advantage when she sings songs. So, draw 4 from friends on the other side, return 2 characters with Mother Knows Best, but we're also running Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. 3-cost uninkable song, return chosen character of yours to your hand to play another character with the same cost or less for free. So we do this with Ursula, we can get really cheeky like double Ursula play, double Crab to boost to even higher numbers, double Merlin rabbits and goats, even extra Genie bumps and to disappear. Genie procs to use the disappear ability and return extra characters to the hand. So yeah, like there's definitely synergy here. We've got 2 Rafiki, 4 Chernobog, running 4/4 of Cursed Merfolk and Flynn Rider, who both discard the opponent's force the opponent to discard a card when they're challenged. Cursed Merfolk being 1 cost uninkable, questing for 2. Flynn Rider inkable, 2 cost, questing for 2, slightly higher stat line. 3 Crab in here, 3 Big Bag Crab, which I do like the 3 of Crab. I think it's a really important piece in this meta. Kit Cloud Kicker for some nice disruption. The 2 Tinkerbell to be evasive, along with the Genie that we mentioned. Yeah, pretty standard EA tempo. So congratulations to Zach. And lastly, of the 7 lists that we have for top 8, we've got some Lucky Pawp. Ran by David, Ruby Sapphire. We're constantly seeing at least one of these in top cuts. You love to see it. Yeah, taking advantage of the removal, taking advantage of the ramp. So we've got Be Prepared, so we've got 4 Maleficents. We've got Tooth Maui's Fish Hook, which not only has the uses of a fish hook to hit bigger numbers and become evasive, but it's another item to feed Flavisham, along with the Pawp, the Fishbone. We are running 1 Lucky Dime. Okay, here's my moment to admit that apparently I lied or was wrong or whatever. So I put out I was doing a run with Ruby Amethyst in preparation for a video, and I went 10-1, and I put that record up as a community post, and I said, I'll shout out whoever can guess what non-meta deck gave me the L. And this is a slight spoiler, but I will still shout out the person that said it when that video comes. But yeah, it was a Lucky Dime red-blue deck that I lost to. And at that point, I had not seen anyone running this Lucky Dime. But literally, like, the next day, I watched a Zephyr video talking about red-blue with, like, the chicken things, the chicken jokes he was making. And he was like, oh yeah, and some players are playing the Lucky Dime because it just helps win the race. I was like, I've literally just said in my community post that I lost to a non-meta deck, and then Zephyr's like, nah, it's meta, mate. So yeah, Lucky Dime. I'm still not happy that I pulled about 6 of them as my legendaries and my pulls. What, is it just me that pulled Lucky Dimes and Milos? Is anyone else out there that got those sort of pulls for legendaries? Anyway, Yeah, 4 copies of Maduck Manor, which is catching on. It's the new coolest thing on the streets. 4-cost inkable, 1/9, and 2 passive lore gain. Just demands so much from the opponent, as do other locations, and it's why our meta has raised to more beat sticks, more crabs, more fish hooks, more ways to just hit those bigger numbers. But yeah, we were talking about the control stuff. The Be Prepared, the Maleficents, the Maui's, obviously 3 Medusa, no Tremaines here. 2 Jim Hawkins to rush out our Maduck Manor, which is our only location, but I think this 2-4 split is fine. Flavisham for draw. Queen of Hearts is a nice early aggro response card for Develop Your Brain to find pieces. The 3 Gaston. We're also running 2 copies of Scar, Vicious Cheetah, who I love in this deck. He should have been in my original location control deck, which wasn't playing many characters, but my later build, I was playing Scars because just really good for just clearing boards. Gets away from like Ursula Deceiver 2-drop plays as well to remove your songs. It gives you another out to be able to make board clears. 1 Hades for some extra removal. 4 Tamatoa to take advantage of all these items. 2 Hearts of Defeaty, which is exert and pay 2 just to put the top card of our deck into our Inkwell face down and exerted. So a way of ramping without taking the resources out of our hand like Fishbone does. And then yeah, 1 copy of Lucky Dime, 7-cost uninkable. Exert, pay 2, choose a character of yours and gain lore equal to their lore. Yeah, when I do my Ruby Amethyst video, I will show my loss to this. But yeah. Red-blue, definitely, like, don't underestimate this deck anymore. It's proving consistently well, doing consistently well. The 1 Lucky Dime, will that stick? I mean, it gave me the L in my RA run. So yeah, huge congratulations to David. This channel is also sponsored by Whatnot. If you're not already a Whatnot customer, you can sign up using my link to get £10 off your first purchase. And that's our top 7 deck lists for the 5k event. As I mentioned, we'll take a brief look at the 2 other events, but I'm not going to remake these decks in Dreamborn. I'll just take a look on inkdecks.com. But yeah, the Friday 1k, as I mentioned, Rob Serp, who came second in the list we just looked at, ran Ruby Amethyst. It's the exact same list that they ran. So congratulations to them. In second place, we had David, who's also running some Ruby Sapphire Pawp. This the same list. I think the Maleficent count, maybe, no, it was for Maleficent. This the same list. This the exact same list. It's the same person. I'm just really, that's because it's the same person that we literally just looked at. A great showing from David as well across the weekend. Well done. In third place, we have some Steel Amber songs. Looks pretty traditional. We've got the 4/4 Stitch line, adoring fans. We've got the 4 Cinderella. We're also running 2 copies of the Knight in Training, help us dig for certain pieces and give us another shift target for our 3 copies of Cinderella Stout-Hearted, who I think is really well situated in this format. Just really good against all the steel decks that are in format, and most Sapphire Steel decks aren't playing Hades or Let It Go anymore. I think we maybe looked at one where they were running 1 Hades, but they've moved away from things like that. So in the Sapphire Steel matchup, this just card puts in so much work. Only 3 wheel, 3 swords. We've got the 4/4 Robin Hood line, really strong for singing, diverse abilities. Only 3 big tink. We're seeing the 3 lanterns to play characters cheaper. 3/3 of Storm Rage on and Strength of a Raging Fire. 2 bare necessities for the disruption, and again, all these songs help trigger our singing sword on Cinderella. 2 copies of Along Came Zeus. I like this higher. I think this is such a good card. 3 Rapunzel, but yeah, deck looks really good. Congratulations to John. Top 8, we've got Dave, who was in the top 4 of the 5k, so we've looked at your list, so what a showing from Forbidden Mountain. Absolutely incredible. Next up, we've got Johnny, who's also playing at Ruby Sapphire, but slightly different. We're seeing 2 copies of the Hey Hey Accidental Explorer, making your opponent lose a lore every time it moves to a location. In that vein, along with the Maduck Manors, we're seeing 1 copy of Montanui. We've got 4 Grandma Talas in here for additional ramp, no Floodborn. A 2-3 split of Madame Medusa and Lady Tremaine. 2 Hades, once again the Scar putting in work. Full count of Tamatoa, 3 Maleficent. So yeah, slight differences. Mainly the Hey Hey and the Montanui and this count of the ladies in red, but looks good. Congratulations to Johnny. And then in top 8, we've got another Amber Ruby Mufasa. I say another, we've not looked at one in this video, but came second in the large France event that we looked at the other day. So you love to see it. Similarities I'm seeing, but a couple of distinct differences. This deck is playing the 4 Pluto. Some conversation about Pluto, because I really liked Pluto, and I still do. And the other thing, one of the reasons I like him, not only, yes, it opens up turn 3 Rapunzel. It opens up some really cute plays. But there's a lot of things that can hit for the 2 damage. He's another uninkable. And in the mid to late game, he's just not strong. One of the reasons I like Pluto mostly is because it just feels really bad to miss Doc by turn 3. But the list we looked at the other day that came second wasn't running them, and I've seen some arguments about how they're just not great in this deck, and I do see it. It just really sucks to miss Doc. But yeah, take advantage of 4 Pluto, the 4/4 Gothel Rapunzel. We are seeing 4 copies of the Pongo, where you can pay 2 ink to look at the top card of your deck. If it's a character, add it to your hand. Just 3 copies of Teeth and Ambitions here is the only non-character card. So yeah, Pongo can just be can generate you a lot of cards in the mid to late game if you can stretch it that far. The 4 mini, 3 Hades we're seeing here at the recycle. Wasn't in the second place list from France, but I'm still a big fan of Hades. Also seeing 3 Goofy, who I'm a big fan of. Still 5 cost inkable, 3/4. Quest for 2 and evasive is annoying. 4 willpower, even if they've got evasive characters, they won't always be able to hit this. I mean, you've got to be wary of things like Mini plus Crab. Although, to be fair, yeah, Maui's Fishhook as well just makes hitting this 4 so much more reasonable. But again, it's another 5-drop that you can play on turn 4. So far less odds that they're going to be able to deal with this immediately. You probably get 1 or 2 quests, and then you're doing 3 damage in return, so you might be at least trading. But yeah, I'm a fan of Goofy. 4 Maui, 4 Mufasa. We're seeing the 2 copies of Hydra really strong into steel decks, and combos nicely with Teeth and Ambitions. A split of the ladies in red, 3 Medusa, 2 Tremaine. I do prefer this. These numbers look better to me, to go higher on the Medusa. Although I said the other day, the deck I looked at from France wasn't running Medusa, it was 4 Tremaine. I said this maybe makes a bit more sense in Mufasa, just because of how aggro you are as well. But I did also say that I could still see an argument for finding a counter Medusa. No, they're both really strong, and I think Mufasa is different just because of the way it can rush these guys out. But yeah, big count of the ladies in red, 4 Silver Stitch for some more draw, and 4 Maleficent. So yeah, got a slightly different Mufasa list to what we saw do well the other day. But looks good, so congratulations to them. And then lastly, for the Sunday, we've just got 3 decks uploaded for the 1K event. Your winner, Rob Serp. What a run, like a boss-making run for sure. In 3rd place, we've got Braden. I think it's Braden. Yeah, Braden. With some Steel Amber songs. We're seeing the 3 Stout-Hearted, which I like as a higher count. Just 1 Night in Training here, but still it's a higher Cinderella count in general, which is good. 3 Lanterns, really taking advantage of just no item removal. The 4/4 Stitch, 4/4 Robin Hood, all the way in on the whole new world. Once again, just 2 Along Came Zoos. I like this higher, but it's probably fine. Bare Necessities at a 3 count. Only 2 Surfer Stitch, which, yeah, it's probably fine. You're running max count of wheels. So yeah, looks good. Congratulations to them. And then the last of these lists that we have by Kurt. Once again, Steel Amber songs. They've called it This Is My Swamp, because we're running 4 copies of the Bayou. 1 cost inkable, 1/3, 1 passive lore gain. Whenever a character here quests, you may draw a card and discard a card. So more cards to help us cycle through cards. Locations just in general, they demand attention. If they're ignored, they're going to give you let you boost that lore, baby. All the way in on the Bare Necessities. We're running 2 copies of the Capable Fighter Robin Hood, a secondary shift target for our Floodborn, and the Skirmish doing 1 damage. I mean, you got to imagine, if you curve Cinderella Ballroom into Robin into turn 3, if you're on the draw, they go turn 3, Ursula Deceiver of All. Then just being able to ping and play and sing Let the Storm Rage On with Cinderella before you've even used ink must feel pretty good. So yeah, this is probably a nice math fixer, and again, just another Robin Hood target. Only 2 Grab Your Swords. I like 3. Only 2 Stout-Hearted, but 2 is still respectable and fine. But yeah, looks good. Huge congratulations to Kurt. Just to finish us off, let's go back to the 5K. And go down to Scoop Phase, who we will highlight. They follow me on Twitter, and I quite often see them when people tweet out yo, which Lorcana content creator should I follow? They always give me a plug So let's return some of that love. A great showing from Scoop Phase. A big old field making top 16 with Steel Amber Songs. The 3 Stout-Hearted all the way in on the wheel. 4-1 of Cinderella's. 3 Grab Your Swords. 2 Surfer Stitch. Only 3 Rock Stars, but that seems fine to me. The people are saying 2 Along Came Zeus is fine, Baker. Stop asking us to run 3. Yo, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bruv. All right. But yeah, list looks good. The template we're seeing for most Steel Amber Songs at the moment. So congratulations to them. And that's it for the assortment of deck lists from SCG Philadelphia. Again, a huge congratulations to the Forbidden Mountain team. Just what a run. And Rob Serp in general, yeah, definitely a main boss to be on the lookout for during their Lorcana career. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a little bit of admin just before Thenj is on your way. Or you're welcome to leave now if you want. But yeah, I want to apologise for the previous video going through the France lists that had, as far as I've been able to work out, 2 mistakes. One of them being there was a deck which had 4 Rafikis, and apparently it should have been 4 Maleficent biding her time. And another deck list which was just completely, like, I put it as one of the 2 Jafar decks, and I have since found out they didn't run Jafar at all. They ran Ruby Amethyst. So yeah, very sorry about that. I just want to apologise. It's this situation where, like, I honestly, like, I finished that video and got it out like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And then, like, in the first hour I saw a comment or 2 saying, oh, by the way, there's a mistake, and like, I felt awful, and I've been contemplating it, and it's this situation where, like, I kind of have to choose between, do I, going forwards, not, when a set of lists is released, which is usually by inkdex.com. There's not a lot of sources to go to. There's some, but not all of them are. Inkdex.com are the best for getting them up quickly. So going forward, when they release a set of lists, do I always leave it a few days just to check if there are mistakes? And then in which case, if I do, depending on how busy I then end up getting with anything else, list could start becoming like up to a week late, like after every single event. Or do I continue going forward of always just getting them out as quick as possible and hope that the audience prefer that, to get the content out quicker, and are okay with the idea that once in a while there might be a mistake? And I think it feels more prevalent to me because there was a mistake quite recently where I talked about the 4-drop Captain Hook, which should have been the 1-drop, although I did say in that video this is probably wrong. But yeah, that's why it feels more prevalent that I'm making a lot of mistakes recently. But I think objectively, if I look through it, there's not been tons over the course of the history of my channel, obviously occasionally. So really, like, I'm going forward with the thought trail of, okay, well, once or twice, occasionally the mistakes are going to happen, but I feel like most people would prefer lists come out quicker. Otherwise, it is literally looking like it could be 3, 4, 5, maybe up to 5 days, even up to a week delay between each, just to make sure that everything is right. So I'm going to go forward continuing to try and get stuff out quicker, but if there's a lot of comments that say, like, they would prefer I go the other way, then as always, I will listen to the data, but just want to apologise again for the prior mistakes. But yeah, that's it from me for now. Another fantastic looking event, weekend of Lorcana events. And I know we've got some more this coming weekend, so we'll leave it there. But thank you so much for watching. If you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe for all things Lorcana. Hit the like button to show your support, and we'll see you soon.